The day that really cemented my wanting to write this book was this was years ago. I was living in Canada, and my home church in Pennsylvania knew that I was going to be coming back to share during Missions Week at a Christian college. And so they asked if I would preach that Sunday in November. And so I said, sure. And then about, maybe 6 days beforehand, my teammate Craig Greenfield, who you mentioned at the start of the podcast, he came bursting into my room and he said, guess what day they asked you to preach on? And I said, I don't know, the second Sunday in November. He said, yeah, but guess what the date is? And I said, I don't know. What is it? He said, it's November 11th, Veterans Day. And I just thought, oh no, there's a mistake here. About half the congregation are in the military, including both my parents. And so there I was that Sunday, and 40% were in their military uniforms. They sang some very patriotic hymns. During the offering, they had a video playing on the screen that culminated at the end with 3 warplanes flying over the crosses with red, white, and blue smoke trailing the planes. Then they brought in an American flag and pledged allegiance to an American flag and left it on the one side of the stage, and then brought in a Christian flag and pledged allegiance to the Christian flag. And then it was my turn to preach. And so there I was, like the lone pacifist in the room, invited to speak on Veterans Day. I still remember my teammates were there, 2 Kiwis and an Aussie, in the back pew, right next to the exit, ready for a quick escape. And I was so nervous. But what I knew, and what I wished that congregation knew, was that history was actually on my side on this. Because for centuries, the church throughout the world has paused on that very day, November 11th, to remember the life of a Christian soldier who refused to fight. And that specific act, the name of that person was Saint Martin of Tours. And he grew up, born 4 years after the famous Constantinian shift began in 312 AD, so he was born in 316. And his parents were in the military, so he was required to join the military against his will when he became a young adult, and mainly had a ceremonial role leading the emperor in parades until his unit got reassigned to modern-day France. And one day out there, on a very cold day, he saw a beggar who had no clothes on. It was freezing to death. So he took off his cloak, cut it in half, gave half to the beggar, and then tried to keep warm with the remaining half. That night, he had a dream in which Jesus says to all the angels around him, see Martin here and how he helped me. So Jesus is the beggar. And the next morning, or soon after, there was a battle. And he said to his superiors, I am a soldier of Christ. It is not permissible for me to fight. They ridiculed him as a coward, and he said, I would rather stand unarmed in the front of the ranks. I would rather be slain than slay, he said. And miraculously, he survived that battle. And it is that event that the church has paused for centuries to remember. And so for me, this book came out of realizing that there's a great irony in the life of the church, that regardless of where Christians stand on this issue of the permissibility of violence, how Christians interact with the state, we at least need to know that a great shift has happened. And most Christians are completely unaware of that.